My bad. I cut myself off. Anyway, so I went and I got sent home after that, and I ended up having my daughter shortly afterwards. But I ended up having to move out of her house after I had my daughter because she acted like I was trying to get, like, it was just crazy. Like they would just do crazy stuff and just blame stuff on me. But I had to move out of there, and from her house I moved into his mother's house. And even still there, I was nice enough to allow him to live with his kid's mother because he had his kids at the time, so he wanted his kid's mother there. Little do I realize that they were still sleeping together, but I was like oblivious. I don't know why I was oblivious because the man was sleeping with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I just my heart I wanted to believe that he could change. I just knew the man could change. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up I ended up catching him like in a lie. He was sleeping with her friend and like I ended up moving up out of there, needless to say, and I ended up going to stay with my mother, the person that I explained in another video on here, who was the first person to actually screw me up while I was a child, coming into being an adult, that led me into finding these people. No, not everything is everybody's fault. I take full responsibility for the parts that are mine. You know what I'm saying? Like there's that we have to own our responsibilities. It is not about just everybody. But anyways, I ended up going to stay over there. Um, and without having to go deep into it, he ends up getting arrested. He still had his kids there. I don't know what happened with the kid's mother, but he ended up getting arrested because he took off and went to go sleep with a friend. Well, an acquaintance that I knew that I introduced him to. He started messing with her. He left his two youngest children in the house while he went to do his due, and he ended up the kid ended up calling the mother and she called the police, which was something she always did. This is why I don't know, I never realized that they were still messing around, because she used to call the cops on me. She would call the cops on me and him, like she would or call DCF, saying that I was harming the kids, and kids would never have nothing to do with anything that was going on between me and him. But she just used to do devious stuff, and he just kept acting like she was just crazy. But I realized now it wasn't that she was crazy. It was because she was crazy in love with him and still sleeping with him and still attached to him. Because after I left, it was the same thing for me. Like I thought I was special. He's telling me this stuff and these sweet little nothings in my ear. Like we're still gonna be together and we're still gonna be doing this, and that after, you know what I'm saying? After we're done, like even if we break up, we're still gonna keep coming towards each other because there's so much love between us and blah blah blah. Please, please. If you can tell somebody else your story, I pray we are able to stop them in their tracks so they don't get caught up in this stuff, because man, this is deep. Like when I tell you my story, this part of my life and my story is deep. But anyways, I go to stay with my mother. He gets arrested, and I ended up having to like I was gonna take care of his house, but he ended up losing that house. He ended up losing that house and stuff, and I had to put his stuff into storage. And yeah, I don't think I got to go deep into it like that, do I? He lost his house because they found drugs in the house, and you're not supposed to have that stuff. So I had to move all this stuff into a storage or whatever, which was not easy, man. It was not easy, but I did what I had to do. And again, I'm still staying at my mother's house. And my mom had a husband at this time. It's a different husband that she was married to, and he robbed the storage that I was living in. My stupid behind, God forgive me, I'm not stupid. Do not speak of yourself like that. But I trusted him. I didn't know all about his background. He needed to use the car. And so I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think nothing of it. I was feeling like my head was hurting. I was feeling really, really sick. And now that I know that my mom does witchcraft, Lord, give me confirmation if that's true. Because I just thought it, but I believe that she had something to do with the way I was feeling that day. It was like this unbelievable headache. Like I couldn't move. Like and he had stuff that he had to do, and like I was just laid out on the bed, and like I was like out that whole day. He robbed me. He robbed my storage of all the expensive equipment that he had, that my kid's father had from his friend that he worked at the studio with, or had from the studio. That place got closed down, and it was all in his house. Like it was there. It was. expensive equipment. Like he robbed the whole thing. And this is why my kid's father was in jail. And I let him know, you know what I'm saying? And he was upset. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't like, you're in jail. Like you're gonna be a little easy, I guess. So he didn't really go off on me while he was in jail. But I had confronted my mom's husband at the time, and as I tell you, when it comes to men, she does not have my back. She never has. But yeah, I confronted him for stealing my stuff, and this man was calling me out my name. He called me a B word and all that stuff. My mom wasn't worried about me in the least bit. She came after me. She was cussing me out, started speaking in tongues, which I realized now we're demonic. Um, she started speaking in tongues, and like I was ready to fight him. Like it was crazy. It was really crazy. Like how, and then she also did. She kept my check. Like she would keep my money from me until the day before it was about to be expired. Like knowing I needed money, I was struggling for money, and like having my kid's father send money from jail to me when she had a whole check for my child support from one of my other kids, my daughter from her father. Like just holding my stuff back. Like I don't know, like just crazy, just crazy. Because there's another situation that she did with my money. She asked me for my money, and she asked me for $200 that she actually didn't need. It was money they used to curse me, her and her current husband. She doesn't know that I know now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff that I know that I can't even say to them because they're in denial right now. She's still in denial, denying everything, like trying to make me gaslight me and make me feel like I'm crazy. Like, I'm your mother. Why would I do stuff like that? Like, I could think of a few reasons why I would honestly even assume that you would do stuff to me. But still forgiving and not hating. But anyways, yes. So after there, I moved out of my mother's house into my this acquaintance girl that I thought was a friend, which I don't know why I thought she was a friend because she was just a nasty, had a nasty attitude, and she used to come to my house when I lived in the Ville with her daughter and just be so inappropriate. Like, her daughter used to be, God rest her soul, because she's not alive now today, but her daughter used to be like she was just a bad little girl, and my daughter was a little bit older than her, and she used to pick on my daughter, and she used to be like, if your daughter hits my daughter, then you know what I'm saying, like she was gonna do something. Like, and I just used to be like, this woman, like, kind of like, woman, if that goes down, you'll find out, like, you know what I'm saying. But anyways, I ended up getting kind of close to her, not knowing that she was a snake in disguise. But we ended up going to stay there, and her man was friends with my kid's father and stuff. And one night, like when I was there, I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to argue. I wanted to keep a roof over my kid's head because I'm waiting for my apartment to come to be and to come into play. You know what I'm saying? So like I didn't want to cause any trouble. I wanted it to be as simple as possible. But I realized that my kid's father knew that I was out of my element. Like, and I'm gonna be honest and upfront. This is not for anybody's pleasure. Like when he used to cheat on me and I used to get upset, I would fight the girls, but I would also fight with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would put my hands on him, and I'm wrong for that. Never put your hands on anybody because it's not the answer. But anyways, while we were there, my daughter, our baby, he went to jail for like 3 months. So our baby was like 3 months old. And our first daughter together. And he was yelling at me one night because he was gonna go out and stuff, and he was cussing me out because of the stuff in the storage was being stolen, calling me stupid and just saying all types of hurtful, like mean things. And I told him, like, it's already done. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is build from here. And I had my baby. I went to thank God, leaning over the crib that was inside the room that we were staying in. And he uppercutted me in my ribs so hard, bad, whatever, that I dropped her. And I dropped her significantly from here's the top of the post. Like my daughter was up above it, and boom, into the onto the mattress. Nothing else underneath her, just dropped her onto the mattress. This man walked out, slammed the door, did not care. I was on the floor. He didn't check to see if our baby was okay. He just left, like, and took off for the night or whatever. And like I couldn't even stand upright. Like I couldn't stand upright, lean in to get my daughter. Like I literally had to catch my breath. like to get it together. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't like the only time. That wasn't the only time. But all right, let that slide because what am I gonna do? I'm stuck inside this lady's house. Like this, I mean, when I tell you he amplified turn I didn't fight him. I didn't fight him there. Like the abuse I went through there with him, I never put my hands on him. I barely wanted to raise my voice. I couldn't say anything right. Like he would just attack me. There was a couple of times, once on the couch, once on the floor, this man would kneel on my chest. Like I couldn't even tell you the situations of what happened, and I just feel like he just used to attack me. He abused the crap out of me there, and they would stand around while he is kneeling on my chest, spitting in my face, punching me, and they would let her go, Q. Let her go. Yo, just let her go. What are you doing, man? You're really gonna hurt her. Like this man's on my chest. I can't breathe. I'm past hurt. Like he could crush my chest with his weight. Like, get him off me. I can't even ask, but I can't even say get him off me. They're standing around just pleading with him. Like, and then one night we went out and we would drive. He was driving. He was driving, and the girl that I told you I was staying with, that I ended up moving out of her house. Like she had accused me of robbing her one night when she asked me to watch her because she had too much to drink, and I guess she just knew she was gonna pop. She must have been on something more than I knew, but she asked me to watch her because you know what I'm saying, sometimes she gets out of control. Fine, you know what I'm saying? So I'm watching her and I'm letting her know, yo, you're giving all your stuff to everybody. Everybody's asking you for stuff and you're giving it to them. You know what I'm saying? And she's like passing out. So I told her boyfriend. He didn't do anything. He just let her do what she was doing. Mind you, that's how she made her money. She wasn't working. So whatever, she comes to find the party's over. She comes 2 in the morning. I'm still there. I had left with her boyfriend to go get my daughter, my daughter, and well, I left by myself, got my daughter, came back to chill with them. And like the whole time I'm there, she don't say nothing to me. I let her know, like if I had robbed you, why am I still gonna sit around? But if you thought that I robbed you, you should have told me to come up out of my stuff because that's what I would have did. Let me check your stuff. You know what I'm saying? But instead, I ended up leaving there. And I'm gonna be honest, her boyfriend had handed me $100, and I didn't. I forgot he handed me that $100. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally did. I didn't find that $100 till the next day in my bra. I was like, where does money come from? And before I even realized whose the money was, I spent it. And it didn't come to me till afterwards, and that's the God honest truth, I swear. And I never told him because I felt, honestly, I felt bad. But again, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, I forgot. But I went to go see the friend that I'm talking about, that I was living in the house with, one that was watching my kid's father abuse me and not doing anything. I went to her house and she was like, oh, she asked her if I went there with her stuff. Like, no, like, not obviously didn't ask me. She let her know, like, no, I didn't have it. This is she told her to watch me and see if I had it, and I guess she got back to her and told her that I didn't. But whatever. My point to this story is we were coming back from, he was working at the bar. My kid's father was working at the bar. He was the bouncer at the bar, which was a great gateway for him to do what he was doing. But he wanted to go over our house and hang out. And I'm like, yeah, I'll drop you off and come back and get you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to chill over their house. This is the first time I didn't know what a narcissistic break was, but this is the first time. No, I can't say that because he was already abusing me. He had gotten comfortable with abusing me. This man hauled off and all I said is, I'll drop you off and pick you up. Punched me in my face so hard that I was seeing stars. Like, I was seeing stars. Like, it was crazy. We ended up fighting, but we ended up turning back around because we was on the highway fighting back and forth. He turned around and went back into Woonsocket. Now, the cops ended up coming where we were in Woonsocket, which was where this girl that I considered my best friend, which absolutely was not a best friend whatsoever. Like, I was just blinded, wanted to have a friend, and didn't pay attention to the things she was doing to me. But we were around the corner from her house, like literally like right there. I was gonna run to her house. He chased me down. Like, the cops came. And I don't know why these cops didn't see me covered in blood. I think they just ignored it because I was covered in blood. Like, I didn't even know I was bleeding as bad as I was bleeding. All I know is he hit me. It was like, and I was seeing stars, and we just commenced or whatever. But and we weren't in her house, so that's why I fought. Like, I fought back. When I tell you I was completely submissive in this woman's house, I didn't want to lose the roof over my children's heads, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't want to lose him because he was a supply, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the cops came, like I said, and this man made me drive off. I didn't have no license. He didn't either, but he made me drive off. The cops was like, all right, just go. I'm covered in blood. My jacket's on the floor. Like, I'm covered in blood. This cop did not see me. And I had white on. So there's just no way they did not see all that blood. Like, but the next, when I don't know if I looked at myself that night, but I know the next day, like my face, my whole left side of my face, my whole face, my eye was like, it was, you could see all the, like the burst blood vessels in my eye. Everything was black and blue. My face was huge. Like just him, he just punched me so hard in my face. Like it was crazy. And the girl I was staying with, knowing this man is abusing me, gonna say, oh, because I lied and said that I fell. Like, I didn't fall. But I lied. Because, I mean, what difference did it make to you? You weren't helping me. Like, you weren't looking out for me. So I don't even understand. Because I ended up finding out that he was sleeping with her at the time there, too. Like, just crazy. But she's like, oh, you're saying you fell, but it looks like he hit you. And she was an abuse victim herself. So you think she would have looked out for me. I would never just... Ugh. She was like, it looks like somebody hauled off and punched you. Like, you know what he did. And I just played it off. No, I just fell. You know what I'm saying? Like, he hit me. Just like, he hit me. But, yeah, living at that house was crazy. It was crazy. Like, and again, still taking those pills and drinking and smoking, like just trying to stay sane. Oh, I forgot. Um, in the midst of living in my apartment when I lived in the village, the first time I ever got attacked by witchcraft, and I did not know that that's what that was. We were partying one night, and just all of a sudden, I started shaking. Like I was shaking uncontrollably. I got in the shower. I couldn't stand. Like I was tripping. I thought it was because of what I took. And I have revelation now that it was actually an attempt from the first time of something actually taking hold of me from witchcraft they did on me. And I ended up going in the hospital. I was tripping. Like I thought something was wrong with my eyes. I was tripping because of the lights. Like it was crazy. The doctors are telling me there's nothing wrong with you. Your heart rate's fine. Like everything about you is fine. It's all in my head, they were telling me. Like, no, it was a witchcraft attack and I had no idea. Like, and it was coming from my family. My family were doing it on me, and they had been doing it on me since I was a little girl, since when we moved on Third Avenue. Like, so much oppression, so much, like, things just changed there. Like, and that's another time. But anyways, with this, we moved out of this girl's house into my apartment was finally ready. So we moved into my apartment, and as we moved in there, I kid you not, that man did not beat on me again. Like once we came back to Woonsocket, he stopped beating on me. He wasn't beating on me. He was still doing his dirt on the low. Like I got pregnant with my our second kid at that apartment, and he was still cheating. Like, and he always turned up when I was pregnant, like staying out, going to hotels and stuff. Then he started working at the hotel. Like this man was just, he was too much. And I'm saying this stuff because we sit here and we want these people to love us and we feel like we can help them, we can change them. We got to understand that they're not just doing this stuff. Like, yes, it's for them. They're getting our energy. Like he was sucking the heck out of my energy. Like, but they're hurt too. They're suffering too. Don't just, I'm not telling my story so we can turn around and be like, oh yeah, I hate this person. No, they're suffering too. They're just hiding behind it and using us to keep them, excuse me, up on the pedestal that they're on. Like it is so sad how much a human being can really like just siphon a life out of you, change you, just like, when I say I seen a picture of me and I was like, I might as well have been a corpse as skinny as I was. Like I was sickly skinny. Like I don't even know how people were interested in me. Interested in me. I was a hot mess. Hot mess. But anyway, yeah. So living up, finally moving into my apartment on Diamond Hill. All those people were coming to my house and I like still blind to what was going on. I didn't know everything. I didn't. And you know what? It's not that I didn't know everything. It's that I was like turning a blind eye to it without knowing I was turning a blind eye to it. Like all these people just chilling in my house. We're chilling. I'm spending money on them. And like, you know what I'm saying? And they're sleeping with my man on the low. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just, just right behind, like just none of them my friend. And it's so crazy. that is not a story for now. God forgive me. I almost some stuff is just too much. But anyways, I ended up yeah, he just put me through a lot of stuff. I don't even know if that's important. Should I have to tell that? Yeah, no, I don't gotta tell that. But yeah, living on Diamond Hill, like this man, he just stayed doing his crap until I literally just got tired of it. He didn't, like I said, he didn't put his hands on me then, but like even like he was still doing his dirt in the complex where I was living. Like he was so blunt with the stuff that he's done. I finally broke up with him. I left him and I got with somebody else, but he was still living with me, like still supposed to be sleeping on my couch, but he still acted like I was his property. Like he would sneak up into my room when I'd go to bed and stuff. And still, like, we still were messing with each other, like, but I was honestly emotionally detached from him. Like, I didn't want to be with him, didn't care about his feelings. Like, I started acting like him. We don't understand. We act like these people, whether we're trying to or not. We mirror them somehow, some way. I don't know how it happens. It just happens that way. But anyway, I don't know if all that part is important. Anyway, I'm gonna skip all that because I don't want to get all into detail of that. Cause yeah, I hate Grease. Um, we ended up breaking up, and we separated, and he moved to Providence with his brother and stuff, and I moved on. I didn't even stay with the guy that I was with him. When I left him, I ended up being with somebody else. But when I got into a relationship that wasn't really, I wouldn't say too serious at the time. I thought it could have been serious, but he was another narcissist, but he was like an emotional wreck, like just a wreck. And I started cheating on him with my kid's father, the one who had me going through the craziness. Like, I ruined that relationship. I did, but like when I tell you that relationship was ruined from the beginning, like he just used to act, I don't know. Like he was just a mess. Buy me a phone, smash the phone up because I'm not in the house when I was like just crazy mess. You'd be surprised if you're not healed how you will find yourself another person like that. But it'll be like I wouldn't say worse as in cheating because the dude wouldn't have cheated, but he just was like mentally not there, like just an emotional wreck. He needed me to be like his mother and it was crazy. It was crazy. I don't even know how to get deep in it, and I'm still learning. So I'm just telling my story. But yeah, I went through these ups and downs with my kid's father. Still, like, not. I did not want to be back with him. It was never about being back with him. Actually, once I did tell him because he had asked me to be back with him, and I was like, yeah, I was actually willing to get back with him. But he ended up talking to this new girl, who ended up being with a couple years. And when I was ready, after the fact though, but when I thought like maybe we could get back together. Like when I tell you, he was like excited that he could tell me no. He changed his mind. Like he was excited, so I was like, you know what? Okay, well that's it. You're never gonna get me to say that to you again. So he would like when I tell you, like, you could see the demons in this man's face. I didn't know at the time that was that, but he had such pleasure in turning me down, like so much pleasure. It was like he was so happy for turning me down. So I was like, all right, I left because I would go to his brother's house for our little escapades. And then finally, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done with all this. I'm over here just dealing with this man's crap for no reason. Like, he wasn't worth it. And honestly, the emotion was him drawing me in, the love bombing and going and doing grown up business, you know what I'm saying? So it drew me back in. So, like, I started to miss him. When I was not caring about him or spending time or listening to his talk, it didn't matter. So after that, I was like, you know what? I brushed him off. I wasn't broken. Like he probably was gloating in that, thinking that I was broken for a long time. I got over that real quick, and I moved on with my life. And he left me alone for a bit because he was satisfied. You know what I'm saying? Narcissists want to be the ones to leave you. They want to leave you in hopes that you're going to be broken down and not be able to move on and blah 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 blah. That's what he was hoping, but life was still going on. And then after, like, I think he stayed away from me for like a year, maybe a little over a year. I could be exaggerating, but he ended up coming back, and he ended up coming back. We started like messing around with each other, like just once in a while. But obviously, he's being sneaky because he had a girlfriend, and I'm wrong too because I knew he had a girlfriend. But I warned her in the beginning, like the dude don't love. He can't love. He's not capable of it, and he does not care what he does. Like, he does not care what he does. So if I'm warning you in the beginning, like, it was just a transaction thing when it came to me, and I told her that. But she was like I was, thinking he's telling her that I'm calling him and I'm getting at him. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, he's the one with the car. So, like, he's the one with the car. He's got to come to me. So I'm making this man like that. He just has no mind of his own. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah. So we was messing around and stuff. But like, he just would do stupid stuff to cause issues in my life. So I would be childish and cause issues with his relationship, but obviously that was to make me look bad and make me look like whatever stories he was telling her was the case. Like, I'm bothering him. So I got hit, but I recorded his butt and I sent it to her. So she learned real quick, your man's lying. But that doesn't make me good, because it made me stoop down to his level. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I look just as dumb as he did. Like, none of that. Like, I honestly, at the time, I was like proud of myself. But when I look back now, I'm like, girl, like, you were making a fool out of yourself for this man, like somebody who was entirely not worth it. And God can save him if he wants to be saved. I'm not saying this so I can, like, literally dog him. He's not a nice person. He's the person that needs help. He really needs help. But, like, no. And this is all leading up to where I'm going, where I'm at now in my life. So I'm not just telling this story just to be downing somebody. So please understand. Anyways, so like I said, like, he got me into things that I wasn't normally into. I was never. Can I talk about that? I don't know if I should. But he just got me into unnecessary stuff that I was never into. Like, I wasn't the type that liked women. I never wanted to be in any of that type of stuff. But he got me into stuff, like, to doing things that I didn't want to do. Like, I would know, feeling like I don't want to do it. He'd ask, and I know that I don't want to do it, but, like, I would do it because, like, he was just so. He used to just say the worst things to me. So I felt like if I did what he asked, he would treat me nice. Like, I would want him to treat me better. So if I do as you please, will you at least treat me nice? So I'm putting myself in situations that I shouldn't even put myself in. I'm not even comfortable in, but I'm doing it so I can get a nice response from you, so you could speak to me like a human being, so you can help me when I need something. It doesn't even make sense. Like, I sit here now and I'm like, how in the world? Like, how did I even rationalize what I'm saying to make sense? Like, it just don't make sense. Like, if the man's not gonna treat you right, he just ain't gonna treat you right. But I figured if I'm doing all these things, like, he's gonna treat me better. Like, I, I'm telling you, dealing with a narcissist is something serious. I had high blood pressure, like, panic attacks, and I started getting their panic attacks when I was pregnant with our daughter. Like, I would go out and I just couldn't be in a store with people. Like, it was bad. I didn't know it had anything to do with him. I know now that it was him, or him. God forgive me. I'm sorry that I keep burping. It just keeps happening. But yeah, like, he messed with my, like, just everything. I was a wreck. But anyway, yeah, I was doing stuff that I didn't have any business doing, and then do I talk about that? I don't know. I don't know how far to go with that. But anyways, now our kids are. I'm gonna talk about this. Um, I started doing stuff that I wouldn't usually do. You know what I'm saying? Just to please him, and, like, to get things out of him. You know what I'm saying? Things that would make me uncomfortable. And see, because that intertwines with a whole nother story, and I don't know if I'm ready to tell that story. Anyway, God pulled me away from him. Like, after all this, after that, getting into things, like, he ended up starting, like, when I say a narcissist, well, and when you stop to ignore them, which is what happened between me and him, I started to cut him off. Like, and this is before even the last stuff that I started to do. Like, I still should have left him alone, and I still didn't. Like, it's crazy. Like, they will have you doing stuff that you wouldn't necessarily even think to do. But his he my brother's one of my little brother's kid's mother, we're not gonna talk about her. He started sleeping with my brother's baby mom, my kid's cousin, like close cousin. My daughter was going over there and sleeping over there and everything. He's sleeping with this girl, and they're carrying on a whole sexual relationship, and like right in front of the kids, not even trying to hide it. But that's what a narcissist would do. He's not doing it because he likes her. He's doing that because he wants a rise out of you. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't give him that, but I also didn't stay away from him. I still messed with him. Like it just, ugh, I don't know. I don't know. Like just, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I like I said, I still messed with him after the fact of that. But then, like, we had a conversation, and this was like it for me. We had a conversation about just how he acted when it came to talking about my brother's kid's mom, and he just was. I could see the pleasure on his face, like the pleasure in it. Like he took it a whole different way, but I could see the pleasure in his face about it, like how he was emotional about like, and it was all fake emotion, like because narcissists do that. They can act a part. They will act their behinds off. He needed an award for the way he acted, but he didn't. Little did he know out of that conversation, that was it for me. Like I seen through him there. I was like, you know what? That's it. I done had enough. Like I see you now. I see you now. Like this is. It has nothing to do with her. You're trying to mess me up. Like like literally. But he's already had messed me up. Like my blood pressure's high, anxiety, depression, like not being able to get up, not being able to clean, not being able to think for myself, making decisions irrationally to get to be treated like a human being, even though what I'm doing doesn't even warrant me to get treated like a human being. Like that was it for me. And I honestly believe God was waking me up then, because I didn't realize I was literally hearing the Lord's voice when he came. Like I didn't realize it, but I was. And I finally like, how do I end this without going into the next story? Um, I just finally realized that this man was just trying to ruin me. He was trying to ruin me, and I wasn't going to have the same reaction like I did when he thought that he had ruined me because of the other girl he was with. Because mind you, he was with another girl whom he he does the narcissists overlap. They already have a replacement for the next girl. Like the new girl, be sitting thinking that she's the best one. She got a prize, not knowing there's already somebody there to back up. There's already somebody back to replace you when you start acting up. Like it's just crazy because they can't be by themselves. They need somebody. They need bodies. They need sources of supply. And the best source of supply is an empath. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like when they're with a narcissist, they're not, they can't feed off of each other. Yes, it might be an explosive situation, like passion wise, but they don't feed a narcissist like an empath feeds a narcissist, because you can keep drawing energy from an empath. You know what I'm saying? Because they're making more energy. Whole process. But anyways, God got to me when it came to the end of us, the end of me dealing with him, because it wasn't like a relationship thing. Like I started backing away from him, and he came to my house, and he was like, "Oh, I love you. I'm not with the new girl no more. The new girl. I'm not with her no more. Blah blah blah." I wasn't falling for it, and I was just starting my walk with the Lord. So and I was learning how to fast and Passover and all that stuff. And my kids were with me, but I didn't realize. I thought like if I'm gonna convert, I need my kids to like start doing this too. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them on the internet. I don't want them being like swarmed by all the negativity of the world and stuff like that. But it was rapid for me, and like I wasn't understanding, and you don't get a crash course. You know what I'm saying? Like you're learning as you go. And like there was just things that I learned about food that we couldn't eat or we shouldn't eat because of stuff that they put in it. So I took the stuff out of the freezer. I took that stuff out of the freezer. I was ready to throw the stuff away or give the stuff away to people. And I needed like food for the house. And he one day The girls called him, so I asked him to go to the store. I gave him my card, and he was taking the girls. And like, I didn't even tell that story. He kidnapped my daughters. He made me go through court. This I went to court. I'm back up, and I'm gonna go right back to that. He broke into my house through a window, and he took my girls while I was sleeping. And mind you, I don't even know how I slept so hard because I didn't go out that night or anything. I just was home, and I went to bed, and I had uh, this girl's son with special needs. I had called the hospital for her and had her go into the hospital, so I had her son. And it just caused the whole situation. I'm not going to break into that because it's really like a sad thing that he exploited to make it seem inappropriate. Him and his daughter, like one of his oldest daughter, they exploited the situation to make it seem like I was neglecting my daughters in some sort of way or whatever. And he let himself in through my kitchen window. He climbed in, which he had done a number of times. He broke in, and he took my daughters without waking me up, and I had to fight him to get my kids back. The cops would not give my kids back, so I had to fight him in court. Mind you, this took a while, and this man, like, he knows how I feel about my kids. So, and this took, I want to say, almost a year. The cops wouldn't help me, so I had to go to court, and I was like struggling, to get back and forth and all that stuff. And he wouldn't even let me talk to my daughters, like, and if I did talk to them, he was like monitoring their calls and stuff, like all for the show of the other girlfriend, the one before this last one that he's actually with right now. um he was like just making it seem like I was saying stuff to mess with my kid's head. Like, when I tell you, a narcissist will flip a story and just have things so crazy. Like, it was to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna call, I'm not gonna like try to check up on my daughters, because like, just what he was doing was to mess with me. I stopped eating, I was in bed like all the time. I lost so much weight, like hair falling out. I was sick. He knew how I felt about my kids. He knew how I felt about my kids. And we ended up like this, like I said, it went on for almost a year. Like, it was just the most emotionally, mentally taxing thing he had ever put me through. He put me through a lot. This was just it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've always been on my kids from the day they came home from the hospital. Like, I always made sure that they were straight. Like, no matter what I did, they were always straight. To have somebody take your kids that wasn't even hands on, that partied this whole time, like the whole time he was with you, like, that he never was hands on. Like, don't get me wrong, he brought gifts for them. He would come put stuff together, but it was also to be with around me. Like, everything he did was like to get to me, even whether it be sexually or to mess with me, or, like, you know what I'm saying, it was either harm, it was harm in both ways, but also pleasurable for him. It just, whatever, how you want to look at it, like, to mess you up, this man did it. um when we went to court, he told the judge that my kids were scared of me, that I was abusive to them, and they didn't want to go home with me. But the judge spoke to my kids. I asked the judge, like, please speak to my kids, because this man is lying. Like, he was lying to the judge, like, just lying to his teeth. But before I went, I prayed and I let the Lord know, like, I'm going into this courtroom with the faith of a mustard seed, Lord God. I'm not going to go in there and tell about this man selling. I'm not going to go in there and speak about all the stuff that he's done. None of that. Abuse, none of that. I'm just gonna, you know what I'm saying, just go in there and trust the Lord's gonna handle it. And like, when I tell you, the Lord handled it. They spoke to my kids, and they was like, where do you want to be? And they was like, we want to go with mommy. We'll visit dad, but we want to go with mommy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you pulled them away from their mother. They were used to me. But this changed my kids. When I got my kids back, it makes me want to cry. My kids were so big. Like, I couldn't believe how big they were. Like, when he took them, they seemed to be so little. They came back, and my daughter was big. Both of them were big, but narcissists will hurt you. They will hurt you. And every time I think about that, it was like, it had to be over a year. I want to say it was over a year, or just about a year. My kids came back, and they weren't the same little kids. They weren't the same. They just weren't the same. He had changed them. And you got to understand, these type of people will speak. He spoke into my children and changed their minds. Like, it was like their innocence being gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just he messed with my children's heads. they were never the same. And that's not to say that they didn't love me, but he messed with their heads. And even to this day, where I'm going at now, like, he messed with their heads. I got my kids back, and it was great. I had fun with them. Like, I always like having like little Nerf fights with them in the house, little Nerf guns and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Filling up balloons, playing outside, put on a bathing suit to go play outside in some water. Like, we were just fun. I loved like just immersing myself in my kids, because like I didn't have that growing up. You know what I'm saying? And like I just was always like, I loved my kids. Like, we had a messy life, me and him, but like I always wanted to make sure the kids were happy. Even though I didn't realize that even some of the stuff that I was doing still was hurting them without realizing it, and I know now. But yeah, he just changed my little girls. Like, he changed them. And now back to this. He took my kids. He was supposed to take them to the store, and this is after the court. Like, they gave me custody of them, but he's supposed to take them every other week. And instead of going to the store, he never came back on my daughters. He took off with them again. And I didn't see them for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? But this is when I first started walking with the Lord and actually hearing the Lord's voice. And he let me know, don't fight him for my kids. Like, let them go with him. If that's what they want to do, let them go with him. And the Lord was being strategic. I could not, for the life of me, all I wanted to do was follow him, because I was excited that I could hear his voice. So I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? He came, he showed up with my girls. And the Lord would let me know every time my kid's father was coming. Like, I knew he was coming when he was coming. And it was like I could smell, there were different gifts that the Lord gives you, and I have a few, and I'm still learning on them. But like, I could smell him before he would get there. Like, I could smell him. Like, that's crazy, but I can, like, being able to smell in the spirit. Like, you can smell in the spirit. Like, you can hear in the spirit. You can see in the spirit. Like, there's many gifts, and I'm not gonna go into my gifts, but I could smell him before he would come. Anyways, and there was other ways that I would get to know, but anyway, that's not important. He came with the girls, and they were mad at me. Like, they got out of the car, they would walk, they were angry, like, just angry. And I had been cleaning my house out because I was getting rid of all old stuff. I had already gotten rid of all the kids and stuff that was staying in my house. And mind you, I don't know if that even I should add that in, but our older daughter, me and his, was mad at me because I put my oldest daughter out because she was being disrespectful and acting like she was my mother. And honestly, you're 17 years old. If you feel like you're so grown and you're not going to listen and you're not going to go to school, you can go. So I sent her on her way, and the Lord was like, that's the best thing for it. Like, and there was many reasons why, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, they came, and they wanted to stay with their father, and the Lord had already said that that's what I needed to do. I didn't realize, because it started a whole process for me. But I let them go get their stuff. But as they were going to get their stuff, like, he was so, like, cussing me out, calling me out my name, and just acting really crazy. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want you to stand outside on the porch. He started flipping out. I'm not leaving my daughters here. He's screaming on the porch. And I'm like, they're not staying here. I'm going to let them out, but I want you outside my house. You're not shutting the door. To just crazy. Because I wasn't giving him my energy. I was being nice and calm, but I was letting him, I want you outside. And then when they finally came down, I'm like, I'm not going to keep the kids from going with you. They want to go. They're going. Like, I'm not going to keep them here. And because he didn't get that response from me, when I tell you, at the end, he was like, you want to give them a kiss and a hug? And I said, no, they clearly don't want to hug me. They don't even want to speak to me. No. He was like, oh, you're a this, that, and the other. Beep, beep, beep. You're a bad mother. And he started smashing everything. Now, mind you, people would call the cops if I had my music on. Like, this man is having a whole narcissistic fit on my porch, smashing things, flying all over the place. Nobody called the cops. Everybody just stood outside and watching this. They watched this man have a whole narcissistic fit. And then he left. Now, that ain't the end of this man. Because he was just so brazen. He comes to my house after that situation. Now, mind you, I can't even call and check on my daughters. Like, and I didn't even try many times because I knew that it wasn't the best for me. I needed to stay away. But so he came to my house a number of times afterwards, telling me he wasn't with the new girlfriend. That like just all sweet nothings coming and bringing me now mind you, I was starting to stop taking the pills and stuff and stop partying and all that stuff. But I was like, you know what? Screw it, I'll do it. I'm cleaning this house and give me some energy to clean the house. So he came and actually I think I called him and told him I gave in and I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Just to close full disclosure. I wasn't perfect in the beginning. And that was one out of the I think I did it 3 times. But this time from him. And so he came and to bring it to me, and he had a bottle of liquor with him and stuff. Like, I didn't order this so I can chill with you. I'm trying to get this house cleaned up, like cleaning walls and gutting my house. So he's like, "Oh, your house looks nice and whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, like, all right, well, I'm gonna finish cleaning my house. Oh, you don't want to drink? No, like, no, I don't want to drink." I'm like, "Nope, I'm gonna clean the house up and I'm gonna go take a bath or whatever and go to bed." Yeah, go upstairs, ask to use my bathroom, go upstairs and clean my bathtub out. Like he's just doing, like, man, you ain't cleaned my bathroom, swept the floor, you ain't done nothing all these years. All of a sudden, here you are trying to come clean my bathroom and stuff. Like, when I say over the top, trying to do stuff over the top, I didn't even tell that story right. I don't even know. I'm not telling that story right because he was outside my house. I kid you not. This man stayed outside my house for hours. For hours. Just in the front, in the back, like throwing rocks at my window. To the point where I finally opened up. Like, when I tell you he was outside, like, this, God forgive me, 3 4 hours, 5 hours. And then, so, like, 5 to 6 hours in a total, this man was there. But I had finally let him in because he was outside the whole time. So I'm like, he probably got to go to the bathroom. I opened the door. He said he had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, maybe he really got to go to the bathroom. So but I left my door wide open because I was like, ain't nobody going to be sitting here talking about me and him doing anything up in here. I left the door open. He went upstairs to go to the bathroom, and I had took the doors off the upstairs because the kids had tore my doors apart. Like, so I just threw them all away. But I didn't go upstairs with him because I didn't want this man thinking in any way we were getting back together. Like, when I told you I was finished, I was finished. Like, you keep taking my children, thinking like that's cool. Like, the fact that you think that you can do all these crazy things. He even broke into my house before. Like, before even taking my kids. Like, I was living with my boyfriend at the time. He broke into my house. And for some reason, my sick little mind was thinking, I tell you, they make you crazy. Like, it was something sweet. Like, it was sweet this man broke into my house. Yeah, pay for that later. And the ex never even knew about that. Like, he didn't even know. I mean, he broke into my house and came up and got me out of my room while my ex was in the bed sleeping. Just just used to do outlandish, crazy things. And in our minds, we're looking at this stuff like this is cool. It's sweet. He done broke into the house. Like, I thought, like, I think of it now and I'm like, why did you think it was sweet? But honestly, I was thinking like that was something sweet. Like, he did something sweet, but nothing sweet about that. I let you know that man is crazy. But yeah, so he came to my house and he stayed, like, he tried to get me to drink with him and stuff, and he was washing my walls, washing tubs. Like, why in the world? Like, you need to go. Finally, he was like, but I don't want to go. I just want to go home and be by myself, knowing dang well you got the whole Hoonie. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not sleeping with you ever again. Like, we're not ever going to be back on that page. Like, that's done. He stuck around for hours. I mean, for hours. And I know he was on the phone with somebody. Um, and I'm not gonna like elaborate on that, but yeah, he was on the phone with somebody. He was working with somebody, and that, again, that goes to another story. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'll tell that story when everything's said and done, cause we almost there. But anyway, yeah. So he's had the girls for a while. And again, like, he came and had that fit. He came to my house after that, and then he had texted me after that and popped up after that. He popped up with the rental car and was like, "Oh, can I take you to the park? Want to go to the park?" Like, why in the world? Why do I want to go to the park? Like, as grown as I am, like, how you gonna come and ask me to take me to the park? Like, no. You wanna come look at my car? Want to take a ride? No. Like, no. Like, no. Like, how crazy are you? No, I don't want to take a ride. No, I don't want to come and hang out with you. And matter of fact, you took our daughters. You over here asking me if I want to go to the park. Why don't you take your kids to the park? Like, I'll wait. Where they do this at? Like, just dumb stuff. Like, just really dumb. And like I struggled with it. Like, God will have you, and this goes into this. God will have you do stuff for the better of to better yourself. Because as that all went down, I'm switching from all that drama and stuff. Like, you get the point. I started to realize, God started to show me how much of a hold my kid's father actually had on me, had on my well-being, had on the way that I carried myself, the way even that I handled stuff, even the way that I was acting slightly like him. Like, I learned that I was dealing with a narcissist. I learned that I was being abused. I, like, even beyond the physical abuse, like the mental, physical, and emotional abuse. Like, I wouldn't have known if God didn't strip me of my kids and of everything. Like, when I tell you, I was telling you last night, at my mother's house, and I'm sleeping on the floor right now. I don't have I have clothes to my name, and not even enough for a whole week. I gotta wash my clothes like every 3 days. Like, but like, when I tell you, this is the best I've ever felt, and the most normal I felt in my whole life. Even being back in the house of the first person who abused me. Like, she's a narcissist too, but a spiritual narcissist. You know what I'm saying? So she's doing witchcraft on me. And then just like, but I'm here for a purpose. God has me here for a purpose. I'm not just here. Like, it sounds crazy, but God works in mysterious ways, and he will turn everything bad that they put upon you for your good. And I'm at the gate. You know what I'm saying? I'm at my finish line. But yeah, I started to learn, like, and unlearn from all that abuse, and just the way that I was thinking and the way that it had me. I had to lose everything. I lost my house. And there's so much to even go on with that. Like, when someone tells you, don't think, like, Holy Spirit's real, God's real, the devil is real. The devil can attack you. The devil can attack your mind. Like, when I tell you, I was, like, my mind was messed up so much so that like, God made me promises, and the devil took, like, stepped in when the witches and stuff couldn't cause pain or harm me. The devil stepped in and was messing with my brain. Like, I was talking crazy, thinking crazy. And if I tell you, like, I can still think of it now, and I feel like I was lucid and I was right, and this was God. But the devil was really talking to me. And, like, still, even right now, like, I'm still trying to put that together. How in the world did I believe the stuff that I was even saying? Like, the devil can mess with you. And the devil almost got me to kill myself in my apartment on Diamond Hill. Like, but in, like, a subtle way that you wouldn't even think that you could kill yourself. Like, the devil is real, and witchcraft is real, and they mess around with your brain, and they get you to do stuff, say stuff that you wouldn't usually do, change your whole character. Your whole character. And that's another story. I've already been going at this for over an hour. I this, like, from the last video, because the last video is attached to this. But, like, when I tell you, yes, like, I've got a story. But yeah, that's what I'm going at with that. Like, you're not alone when it comes to dealing with a narcissist if you know one. And it's not your fault. It's really not your fault. Like, you don't deserve to be treated like that. You are a good parent. Nobody's perfect, and nobody deserves to treat you any old kind of way. You deserve love. You deserve respect. You deserve to be showered upon. You deserve to be hugged. You deserve to be I don't want to say praised for a lack of a better word, because I don't mean praise like we praise our God, but you deserve to be complimented. You deserve to be told you're doing good. You deserve to be told that you're beautiful. You deserve to be told that you can make it, that you're triumphant, that you just deserve these things. Don't let another human being tear you down. I've been there. I have been there, and I'm telling you, I'm still learning. This is a walk for me. And notice it from these rough videos that you're gonna get from me, because they ain't perfect. They're all over the place. But you know what? When you're real, when it's real, it don't come out copywritten. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get it how it is. So this is my time sitting and talking with you. I gotta be obedient. I gotta reach out to my sisters and my brothers, because women do this to men too. Like, we deserve better. We are better. We have God. Jesus loves us. And we've got to take care of ourselves. We've got to take care of our children. And we got to step out no matter how uncomfortable it makes us feel. We have to do it. We have to do it, because if we don't open our mouths, if we don't reach out to our brothers and sisters and our children, who else is going to do it? We are vessels for God. We are vessels for Jesus. We are here to get his point across. No matter how crazy it sounds. My kids thought I was crazy, and for a little bit, the devil had me being crazy. You know what I'm saying? But for a little bit, I had to learn or to know the difference between the devil and the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn the difference. You don't just come into it already knowing stuff. But that's what sitting with the Lord, reading your Bible, and giving in, like submitting. I'm still learning. I am not perfect. I'm not perfect. And I sit and I see other people with what they do sometimes. And I found myself thinking, oh, how they're doing it, I'm doing it wrong. But it's not about how somebody else is doing it. It's about your own walk with the Lord. The Lord will mold and shape you as you go along and as you learn. I'm at the stage now where when he tells me to say something and do something, I'm going to do it. Like, even though it feels uncomfortable, like, listen, I got to do this. The Lord said such and such. Let the person answer, and I shut up. I'm not going to argue with you. I don't have to argue God's point. All I got to do is say what he tells me to say. Whether it sounds crazy to you is irrelevant to me, because, hey, it sounds crazy to me too. And I know you did it, because if the Lord told me, I know you did it. But that's not for me and you to go back and forth with. It's for you to go back to God and wonder, why is she saying this, Lord? Because that's how real the Lord really is. The Lord is real. You can ask him. She ain't just saying that stuff, and he'll let you know. But you got to be sure that's what you want to hear. And if you choose to ignore it, the Lord's going to deal with you on another level. Take it when someone's coming to you and warning you, because when God comes and he lets you know the warning is over, now it's time for judgment. Like, people are just... Everything you do is being recorded. God sees everything. There is not a thing that anybody is doing under the sun that is hidden. Not a thing. Not a thing is hidden. And there's even so much stuff that I didn't even get to say, but it's irrelevant. I've said what needs to be said, and I'm sure eventually more of my stories will come out. But you get the gist of what's going on in my life and the stories that I have to tell. And until next time, I love you guys. Jesus loves you so, so, so much more. He's waiting for you. I'll be back.